Hello everyone, I'm Wes Sego, and this is MUX Term 1310, Week 3 discussion. And for this week's assignment, I actually started from the beginning. I had originally used Interface 2 and was very unhappy with the way that worked out, so I actually started over and just wrote a shell of an application with Xcode, and I used that to test with this week, so I'll give you a little glimpse of that. It's very similar to what I had last time. I did change the graphic a little bit. The add event page, you could actually type in. That was my pain point last week. People were really interested in being able to type in there. So on the view events page, you can actually go in and select one of the events and take a look at it. And as far as the tasks that I had people do, one was just to navigate to the page where you would add an event, and the other one was to view a couple of events and actually get some information out of people, like what dose was this or what time was that, and that kind of thing. So those were the questions that I asked, and what I found was, I really think that 8 people was just way too small of a survey of people to get a good idea what's going on. I mean, I did not run into the same issues as far as a pain point with the add event screen. Last time in Interface 2, that was just a real problem, and people didn't quite understand why they couldn't type in there. And there was never a point where I asked anyone to type in there, but it just seemed like everyone chose to do that. And then I changed the color just a little bit. In the last one, I had it was still gray, but I had like a background that, but in any case, no one made any comments last week about colors. And then this week, a lot of people suggested more color. So I really wish I would have started with an Xcode shell instead of using Interface last week, because I really kind of feel like I need to iterate this one more time and go out and get a better feel for it, you know what I mean, and get the application working 100%. But it was a really good exercise. But like I said, I think a sample of 8 to 10 people, was just not quite enough. I mean, I get it. I understand why we're doing this, and I understand why we're using such a small sample. But that was kind of my issue this week. I just people had totally different things this week to say, and so I would probably like to iterate this one more time and go ahead and get it running. But it was a good experience. I mean, I didn't have anyone tell me that they hated the application. I did have more people tell me that it was just such a great idea to have a simple application. Someone actually brought that to my attention today, that kind of had the same thought that I did, that anytime you go out and try to get one of these types of applications, it's become so inundated with features that it's just a pain to use, and the simplicity of it was really nice. So that made me feel really well. So but anyway, that's it. I mean, I didn't really discover any new pain points this week, although people want to play with it. I think probably the biggest thing that I've learned through this is I would start this whole process with a completely functioning app. It doesn't really have to be polished, but if it completely functions, people just have no problem going through and navigating through it and trying to see what all it will do. So that would have been a lot more help. But it was a great exercise. So I hope everyone had a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.